following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions.
Drop the cap to my fucking water.
I did that last week.
No, you pissed on the floor last. Still my favorite moment of the show. When we get to our 100th episode in 4 weeks or 3 weeks, we definitely have to.
I'm not the only one I hear.
Right. I will mention. Definitely bring that up. You definitely got elevated to like God status.
See, I'm older, so obviously I'm the final boss.
Kliq This, Kevin Nash podcast. He's Kevin. I'm Sean. We're here to mess around for a couple hours with you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh,
I often wonder. Like I usually don't listen on the first play, like 6 a.m. Monday. I'm usually up to see that it goes up, but I wonder how jarring some of our topics are for those like doing their morning commute. Is it too much? I guess it's not too much. People expect this now, right? Since like Stern and like Shock stuff. It's cool. We're not too much for people on a Monday morning, I don't think.
My God, they're waking up in America. I mean,
it's morning in America. Remember the Reagan commercial? It's morning in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, God.
Transfer caps. Here, will this cap fit this bottle? No, not at all. Kev, you look a little tired. I know you had some obligations. Not as tired as Mike Lindell. I don't know if you caught a fan photo that got posted, I'm guessing at a Trump rally. Where else would he be? Crack house. Yes, very much. Actually, you know who did that comparison? Waltman, I saw in his...
Nice.
How about that action?
That's not a work.
Oh, no. That's him. Right side of the screen.
I understand that, but I mean...
I know where I'm looking.
Yeah, I know one's Paul, but I mean... Did he get hit in the nose? Is it like,
I know there was, I think at one time, there was a bit of a cocaine habit, right? This is true? Crack? Something like that? Maybe it's back? I don't know.
I don't know how it is. The guy's got no money.
Speculating.
He must be dealing.
Maybe it's being financed. Maybe he's got... Well, did you see, maybe My Mattress is coming next with chopped up foam that you can sleep on. Like a fucking bird's nest.
Short run.
So you were in New York. Short run. You were in New York.
Yep.
For briefly, right? Your stay was rather brief. And
I got in, so like 10:15, 10:20, and was on a flight at 5 p.m. the next day to Phoenix.
And then home. No delays, though? You were right with the flights and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, I've been traveling for such a long fucking time that when they decide to finally, you always see these giant wooden, plywood walls that say coming soon in, 2024, the JFK Delta expansion. You're like, yeah, whatever. And, LaGuardia, when you used to land at LaGuardia, like if it was the last gate that Delta had at LaGuardia, you basically walked by 6 gates. There was that middle little area there where there was like tables and shit where you can plug your stuff in. There was a couple of eateries. There was a sushi place. on the right-hand side, and then there was that real small little escalator that was maybe 24 steps, and you went down and you took 2 steps to your left and you were baggage claim. Now you get off at LaGuardia, and it is a 30. It's like you've landed in Heathrow, and you're the last gate that doesn't get a bus. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and JFK is the same way.
I saw somewhere that the Terminal A in Newark that they redid.
That
It got an
one's
award.
sweet.
It got an award. I
That
saw
one's
from
fine.
Some travel.
Yeah, that one's
magazine,
fine. Yeah, I am now going to, after those last 2 experiences, I'm going to fly in out of Newark.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped by Lookers.
It's still there, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the talent might still be getting a second run. I think they have a Legends contract now. Where yeah. The much like the Legends matches, sometimes it's a lot slower. The pace is a lot slower, and you have to be a little forgiving with the physiques. But listen, if you could stay in shape,
Not necessarily.
nobody's got a reason not to.
Not necessarily.
The other thing that came to mind, other than your travel schedule, I was talking to Kevin on Monday, and he was called me in the afternoon at some point, and I thought you were back home for some reason. I mean, I knew you were going away. I didn't remember your schedule. We're talking like, all right, I go to a baseball game. I was like, you're still in Phoenix, and all I said to myself was, thank God this show is there. You are, by the way, right there.
And I'm not being a douchebag. They put these LED lights all the way around that ballpark.
I was going to ask you about the shape.
Oh my God. I mean, ever since I had the whatever the hell I had, the fucking lens, retractable lens surgery where they
LASIK?
take no, they take the lens out of your eyes and put another, it's for cataracts. For all the years of laying, besides all the skin
looking
cancer,
at the lights.
Besides all the skin cancer, I also cataract my eyes laying in the tanning beds, which when they were, in their prime, they were the no harm, no foul tanning bed. Nothing wrong could happen in a tanning bed.
9 out of 10 doctors prefer Pall Mall.
Exactly. Yeah, I had great seats.
Yeah, I see that.
Second row.
But the other thing that came to mind was that you were a social media darling again this week for our Tony Khan coverage, and he disagrees with you. I mean, that much has been made clear about your take on the current product, which you got to listen to. It's not like this guy only gets 600,000 viewers every Wednesday. But you have to say that, right? I mean, and the thing that's weird about the whole thing, we could read the statement in a minute, but the thing that's weird is if the product was at all competitive. I always go back to the Eric Vince thing.
This is a guy hitting social media saying, I'm telling you right now, my wife is not fat and she's like 235. Like, dude, your wife's fat, okay? Your product sucks. It's just because, obviously, like, when you're the laughing stock of the NFL and the wrestling world in the same week, I really don't think that your opinion probably, there's much weight. It's just kind of like,
You've got to stand by your man. But I would privately be having discussions with my team, with my creative team, about what's wrong and maybe I publicly have to go out and do like what he's doing, but any criticism that me anyway, I always look for a shred of truth in criticism, because maybe there's a message for me.
I'm the coach. I'm the coach of the Golden State Warriors, and we get knocked out. Steve Kerr goes to up to the podium, and he says, hey, I need to do a better job. He never puts it on his players. But he also doesn't sit there and tell them that they're the best team in the league when they just got eliminated from the fucking playoffs. Obviously, they're not. They were the 10th team in and the first team out. So obviously your team isn't the best team. Therefore, that's why you take the blame. Obviously, you're not doing a good enough job at what you do, because from what I've heard, he doesn't delegate. And people like Jericho they just do their own thing, because it's just like,
So keep your basketball analogy for a minute. But what do you do in the locker room? But that's how you handle it in the press. But now you have your team. You don't have to be polite. What are you saying? You have to be critical, right? You got to lay into to people who are. Oh, if you know what's wrong.
If you don't know the game of basketball, you can't say, hey, we need to pick up the pressure. We need to pick up full court. We need to deny on the wings. We need to switch. We need to talk on defense. We need to move the ball. You have to know the game in order to sit back and watch tape and go, okay, boy, they really, we're not blocking out. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. And if you don't know the game, you can't walk into the locker room and tell them anything, because he thought it was a good idea to have the Bucks give him the pile driver and to wear a soft collar. He had a hard collar on for like at the beginning, like the one that you actually would have if you had a serious, and he realized that fucking thing is painful as hell. So he switched to the Seinfeld episode of the I have a bad neck, and he took the heat for that. So
the purpose of those collars is to incapacitate the head, correct? So that
it's supposed to, yeah. It's at this point, but my whole thing has been like I don't. It's brought up. We're done with it. I don't want to pile on, because at this point in my life, I feel like if I have any more judgment or say I've said what I have to say, I don't want to come across as a bully, which I think I would be if I continually said that he would. So I just hope that he gets some help, that somebody gives him some help.
Is this a Dixie Carter situation? You could draw some parallels there.
Oh, Dixie never.
I meant with not knowing the sport that you're coaching, and
Dixie
maybe having a father's money involved.
Completely different.
Tell me how.
Dixie was smart enough to put people in charge that knew, and she was a quick learn. She also knew what she liked. I mean, she had an eye for it. It's just that, but she wasn't like saying, I just don't think we're booking enough heat, guys. I mean, I never did. She didn't make those kind of,
Okay, so that is kind of what you'd be expected to do as an owner who might not be entirely familiar with the product, right? You know how to run a business, but like you're Nabisco, right? But you're buying
Ford.
So I mean, you laugh, but there are conglomerates that have
I'm just saying.
So what you do is you
it's
take the people from Ford and you say, listen,
Right.
you guys are still running this. We're going to get together and talk about the business aspect, but on the floor, it's still you guys.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, what you're saying has failed to happen.
Yeah,
at
they're not.
AEW.
The assembly line is not running smoothly.
Understood. Very good. Very, very good. You were also in social media for our discussion of the Orange Cassidy and Shane Taylor match. You actually, I think, might have gotten challenged to a Muay Thai death match, which I'd be excited to tune in for. The quote is...
Hold on, let me read this.
Yeah, I'm going to read it. Criticism is part of the game. This is from Shane Taylor. Criticism is part of the game. Comes with the territory. I appreciate the critique, Kevin Nash.
Right.
You have an open invitation, Muay Thai in Houston, to train and spar with me as many rounds as you like. Look forward to discussing my shape and my name with you in person, OG.
So, does he really leave that up so I can look at it?
Digest it a little.
Yeah, so it says here, I appreciate the critique. Okay, well, you're welcome. You have an open invitation to the Muay Thai. Okay, so,
I read this differently. I say, when I put my special glasses on, here's what I see. Thanks, Kev. Didn't need your criticism. Anytime you want to meet my pear-shaped ass in Houston to try and go as many rounds with me, I'll be happy to do that. And then you could tell me I got a pear-shaped ass, and you'll remember my motherfucking name. That's what my glasses saw.
well, let's just look at it for what it is. I'm a 64-year-old man. He's 38 years old. I have more orthopedic surgeries than he does years on the planet. So, number one, if I could spar with you for as many rounds as I'd like, if I could spar with you at all, you're fucked because I have your job. Okay? Because I'm not going to let Orange Cassidy fucking dropkick me, and I'm not going to fucking job to him. So I have your job. And if you want to, I mean, if you want to have a Muay Thai, that's great. That's your challenge. My challenge is this. We'll discuss your shape, but we'll do it in a bodybuilding contest. 6 months from now, you can get on a stage. We'll both put posing trunks on. And if you can't look better than a 65-year-old man, at this point, I'll be 65 years old. I'll be a pure senior citizen. If you can't look better than me, I mean, at 38 years old, man, I was already a Triple Crown winner at the WWE. I mean, I had all 3 belts in 1 year. I mean, so if you listen back to what I said about your match, I said, I can't believe you got the big black guy selling for him. And then I made reference to the fact that they said you were good with your hands. And I made reference to that. But you are pear-shaped. I mean, should I have said with credibility, the really broad-shouldered, small-waisted black gentleman that was wrestling Orange Cassidy, because that would not have been accurate. And I don't know who you are. I do now, but I didn't until I watched that match because I don't watch the product very often. And that's not anything against you. It's just the fact that I don't watch your product. And if I went to the opera and there could be the best alto singer in the world up there, and I wouldn't know who they are because I don't watch opera or listen to opera. That was a great move. It should have been a finish. Don't use it if he's going to kick out of it. Especially, I mean, just don't do that.
Yeah. I've been saying for a long time, and I think you've agreed with me that the diversity, I hate that word because it's come to mean so many stupid things, but the variety of shapes in wrestling, I think, is necessary to lose that kind of uniformity, indie-rific figure, to quote you, that tends to be.
I didn't, and I never.
Not him. Not him.
I never used the term fat.
No, I don't think.
I said he was pear-shaped.
Yeah,
which just means you're more hippie than you are shouldery.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. I mean, if you look in the mirror, it's just. But I mean, yeah, let's I promise you, I won't critique you again, and I won't. And I just did. I said, don't use that because it should be a finish, and if he kicks out of it, it makes your shit look weak. So that was the last critique that I'll give you. That may in somehow form or fashion.
He appreciates the critique.
Forge your career, but fuck you, man. Sorry I brought you up, man. My bad.
All right, other people who were.
But I'm going to be going. I'm going to be training for the contest.
The pose down, the
bodybuilding contest, and we'll just call it the. He's got good upper. He's got good chest. He's a big old fucking dude. He's just.
He can get that Mark Henry type thing up top, right?
And he fucking looks like. I mean, that dude fucking looks like he. I would not put it this way. If you want to be pissed off at somebody, be pissed off at the guy with the neck brace. I didn't book your fucking match, dude. I wouldn't have been fucking critiquing your fucking match had you fucking been working against somebody else and pounded the dog fuck out of him. But that fucking picture right there that's a Ring of Honor picture. That's not the guy I saw in the ring. That picture right there is the guy. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, I don't know when was the promo. I mean, I don't know when it was from. Steve brought it up, but
I'm just saying though, is that promo's a Ring of Honor. So I mean, he is not that. He's
last year, September 23.
Okay, that's a big jacked fucker right there. That's not the same guy that's got Orange Cassidy in his arms on the next photo. And is the silver outside of his shoulders, on his hips?
Oh, thus the pair comment you're saying, the width. Yeah.
But man, like, dude, if anything, I hope you look back at that picture from September and go, yeah, man, I was hungry. That's half the problem with that fucking that place you work at. Nobody's hungry. Everybody's getting a paycheck.
Interesting. Chris Martinez was also listening last week, Kev. He said, hey, Kevin and Sean, love the show, but I have a question about Russo's idea. If they stripped Cody of the title after Mania, even if it made sense, wouldn't fans think they are playing hot potato with the belt? A fart in church is unexpected.
How is it a hot potato if you strip him from the belt? That means if we go back on Roman. So you put the hot potato means you put it back on the guy that had it for 1,300 days?
And if it's just one time, it's like hot potato would.
It's not a hot potato.
Indicate a lot of changes.
Now we don't know if we're ever going to see Roman again.
Behind the Fiends. What I'm curious about when they do turn when do they turn Cody heel?
Never.
I know now is too soon, but you can't let him be Ricky Steamboat because that just doesn't work today. He already has the look.
Bullshit.
The suits. Well,
bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking sent you a clip.
The line
of a fucking personal appearance that Cody Rhodes did. It looked. There was 2,000 people minimum in this line wrapped around. Do you have that? Is there a way we can get that to Steve?
I could get it to Steve. Yeah.
Let's get this to Steve, and You tell me if the Cody Rhodes thing isn't going to work nowadays.
All right. So if you don't flip him, can you at least have him chase, right? Because we did kind of talk about that too.
No, he doesn't need to chase yet. He sold $1 million of merchandise at WrestleMania. He's the hottest entity you have. And as I said in last episode, he's the only guy that has that work ethic that the guys had in our era. He's signing 200, 300, 400 belts before, it will work if you put a heel factory against him. If you put the same thing they did with Hulk, man.
Mm-hmm.
Does it Boss Man, Akeem, boom, boom, one after another, Kamala. I mean, you've got to, and that's a different era, but you've got to get guys. You don't want to go out there and put a Ricochet or some other guy you want him to work from underneath. You want Cody to work from underneath.
Right.
And to slide out, and with the victory every night. But you want him to work from underneath because he's not Jack Reacher. Reacher. Reacher?
Yeah.
Jack Reacher. He's not Jack Reacher. He's not 6'5", fucking 270 pounds.
Not to be confused with Jack Reach Around, who I think is in an NXT right now. He's going to be in the ring. Steve, I sent you the thing on your Twitter. I DM'd your Twitter with Cody's line. So, all right. So, do you then just keep? I'll use the Hogan model, I guess, right? Because like so over, beyond over, thousands of people, super baby face, white meat baby face. That's what you kind of got here with Cody. Do you just keep it? Okay, so here's I'm going to cut myself off here. If you're watching us, and if you're not,
you can watch this, I mean, it's just like this line.
This is an appearance in, I don't know the location, if it's on the thing. The line for the store goes down onto a highway, out of the commercial area into the residential area.
Yeah, into the hood. If they were giving Rockaway in Baltimore, I mean, just pure,
from an overhead, it looks like the redistricting lines that the Republicans want to do to get rid of the black vote.
I mean, Jesus, man, it's like,
yeah, no doubt. No, I mean, listen, the proof's in the pudding, right?
damn right, man, motherfucker's over.
But
you worry about it when the house shows stop fucking filling up, when the numbers starts to drop, when the merch starts to go. It's just like Bill. You go with the unbeaten streak until it fucking starts to have some hiccups in it, and all of a sudden it's just like now you got to pump in the Goldberg champ because it's not as strong as it was. And you know at that point, man, it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. So
is the answer for keeping an angle like this alive, to get as much out of it as you can?
Absolutely.
Is the answer in the opponents you give him? Because you can't change him that much. What's he going to do? He's pretty straight. He's pretty straightforward babyface, right? So do you just have to give him seemingly insurmountable challenges all the time, like the Hogan model? You bring in the monster, and he just slays them. Because that's not the fertile. That's not the field they have to play with right now. Because they keep people around forever. They just keep recycling. It's not somebody comes in, works 6 months, gets the Hogan spot, goes. You got to keep people around in today's product.
Well,
seemingly forever.
I think that what you have to do is you have to treat him like a prize fighter. Like he can't put the belt up every TV.
Right.
I mean, it's just,
That's a good question. How many times a year would you got Tyson like twice a year, right? When in his
maybe
prime.
3, yeah.
2, maybe 3. But that was it.
Because then I don't think that every night that he works on the road should be for the title. Then it makes it unbelievable, because then somebody can slip one off, slip one by him.
Right. And then the fact that never happens maybe is unbelievable. So would you book him on house shows doing an in-ring, or just leave him? You don't want to leave him off because he's such a draw.
No, you can't. You got but
tags. Would you put him in tags?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can always beat him in a tag, and he keeps the strap. But so going back to AEW and going back to what I said, about the physiques, when I watched to go for the main event to work with Cody in France, and I watched AJ versus LA Knight, and it's like both those guys look amazing. You can tell that, I mean, and their schedules, these guys are working, man. And they're getting in the gym, man. But on top of that, they're dieting their asses off. Like, I think Ospreay's not fat by any means. He's just not dialed in. He's just not chiseled. He's not AJ.
Mm-hmm.
He's not LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those guys, like most of the guys, on the WWE roster, look like, you can tell they're putting the time in the gym. They're dieting. Granted, man, a lot of those guys have got buses and everything else, and they're fucking microwaving meals, and but it ain't like the guys on the other side ain't making the same amount of coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get through, some of you guys that aren't making the same kind of coin, you can still throw for you in a bus, make it a bunk bus like you would a rock and roll band. You can have your meals, you can have somebody else drive you, you can get your sleep, you can get your training in. I mean, there's ways to do it.
There's ways to do it other than the bus
against,
too. You guys didn't have buses in '95.
We fucking ate fucking handfuls of pills and shit. It was not.
Orndorff didn't have a bus in '85.
No.
And he was, he was chiseled. There's ways to do it.
But it's, at the same time, it's just like.
Yeah, and the schedule isn't the same either. It's not even close, right?
But I would in no way want to condone anabolic steroid use to somebody that isn't in the TRT category. And that's fucking, late 30s, early 40s that you start looking at TRT when your testosterone's down. We can't have 23-year-old kids taking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to have heart attacks. I mean, that was the whole reason we had a wellness system, So, I mean, it's...
All right. Talking Shenanigans said, I'm just glad that KN is able to keep a subjective mindset and not a one-sided WWE Triple H paycheck option. Thanks, Big Kev. So you're critical of WWE when you feel that they're doing something wrong.
I didn't like the Killings thing. I didn't like what they were doing with Ron.
Right.
It's just my opinion. Number one, man, it's just my fucking opinion.
Yeah, that's why people come here, though, for your opinion.
But it's just like my vote. Like, man, the guy woke up next to me on the red eye from Phoenix to Atlanta. He woke up next to me and Morning Joe was on my fucking television screen. You would have thought I was watching Nazi propaganda. I mean, he just kind of looked at me and then looked at my tattoo and looked at my hair and was kind of like, wow, I wouldn't picture that this guy was...
It would be watching.
Yeah, we would be watching MSNBC.
MSNBC.
I'm
like... Bad Lion, just bring back Brawl for All, leading into Netflix.
Yeah, that didn't destroy Bart's life.
that, if anyone doesn't remember, that was the legit shoot fight.
Because that's what you want.
To hurt your wrestlers?
No, you want a legit shoot fight on a work entertainment show.
Devil's advocate. At the time, was it okay?
No. I thought there was no upside to it. Killed Dr. Death.
Hmm.
You got a
Did
guy
more
named
to hurt the guys that they were on their roster.
The guys that got they got rocked. Now it's like,
whose brainchild was that? Was that Russo?
I don't know. No, fucking Russo wasn't around for that.
I don't know. I feel like, you sure?
No.
Okay.
No, because Russo would always, if you were in some kind of altercation, he would always say, and right there, man, you just smack him as hard as you can. And I'd be like, dude, if you got one shot and I'm standing in front of you, please don't.
Okay, hey, listen.
Was created by Vince Russo.
Vince Russo came up with the idea for Brawl For All tournament as a way to showcase legitimate tough guys. Russo's idea was to have the wrestlers compete in a real shoot fight tournament rather than scripted wrestling matches in order to make the competition more real. The motivation behind Brawl For All was to prove that wrestler JBL could not beat everyone on the roster in a real fight as he had boasted. Oh, it did a lot more than that.
Yeah, you had Bart go against Butterbean at, was it Mania? And he got rocked.
Yeah. It was 15, WrestleMania 15.
Yeah, and then where's Bart now?
I know where Matthew Frobiter is. Kevin is the only one making the point of Punk got fired for a shove and a quick choke, while the Elite can beat down the owner and all is fine. It's why showing the footage made no sense. I don't know why Kevin is the only one making this point. It should be obvious to everyone.
I don't know.
Milk.
You can't. You can't. It's like, how many times do I say that when you book wrestling, you have to create the universe that you're going to book in, and there has to be boundaries in that universe, just like
Writing fantasy, like the same thing, right?
But it's and I used to always use the analogy of, you can't do a soap opera and have a guy in the back looking at the monitor and watch a guy kissing it on his wife, and then come in the next scene and go and punch the guy and goes, what's that for? Oh, I was at the monitor watching that scene that was filmed in the back, and yeah, I saw you kiss my wife. You can't do that. You can't. I mean, you have to have distinct lines and parallels and
the fourth wall, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Milk Carton wrote.
I just have a feeling that Tony, his booking style would not be considered Sorkin-ish.
How much is he giving though? And this thing, we go into the Dixie thing and that. Like, how?
Stop bringing up Dixie.
No, this is why I asked about Dixie, because you said that she had people doing. I'm proving your point that she had people doing the wrestling stuff, and she might have just been saying something like, "Listen, we're selling a ton of Rob Terry merchandise," which could have happened. Can you guys get him involved this week on TV? And then it's up to the wrestling guys. It's up to Dutch to figure out how to get him on TV, right? Like, isn't that the right formula? Boss says, "Hey, this guy, doing well."
If TNA would have had merch.
Yeah, they didn't have anything. And that's not happening. Is Tony involved with the wrestling part of it? I can't imagine, right?
Who do you think? So you think that somebody else booked him taking that pile driver?
No, he might have come down and said, "Listen, I want to get involved this week." I want to show up
You don't
at
think
the
no?
NFL draft.
He was chosen by Meltzer as Booker of the Year 2 years ago. He's the booker.
Okay.
You don't get to be Booker of the Year by fucking having somebody else writing the shit.
Right.
Maybe fucking he needs to stop listening to fucking Mr. 5 Stars, because you see where that fucking, old momentum, you run down the side of a fucking steep hill, you pick up some momentum, and all of a sudden you hit that fucking flats. All of a sudden you realize, man, you ain't the world's greatest athlete. You're a fucking 5'7", 540 guy.
Right.
That's where they're at right now.
Gotcha. Milk carton 6.
Guys are staying over. The guys that are over and are staying over are because they know how to fucking get over and how to stay over. Mm-hmm. Nobody's being made.
Interesting. So, right. So it's not like some of the people you worked for that had a very good sense of how to make Kevin popular. This is Kevin's so damn good out there that he's going to be popular no matter what. And those are only the guys that you're going to have that reaction for in AEW, you say. Right? The guys that know how to go out there.
They brought back Kenny Omega.
Yes.
On this past show, which I didn't watch, but I heard that he did an interview, and like 99% of the people were asked about it afterwards. I don't know what he said. So,
interesting.
Did you get the biggest bang for your buck? And I love Kenny. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. But
so we also heard about last week's show from Milk Carton 6654, who said, concerning the Dear Sexy letter about the woman with the unhygienic kitchen, and the letter writer wondering why nobody ever got sick from the woman's cooking, I've suffered deep depression before, and as a result have had the most disgusting kitchen you can imagine. In those days, never got sick from my cooking. I came away from this period of my life thinking people either underestimate our digestive system's capacity to deal with harmful bacteria or overestimate the capacity for harmful bacteria to get into our food.
Only takes one to die to make you fucking go to prison.
It was the cookie at work.
I don't want to. I'll pass. Yeah. I haven't washed my hands after wiping my ass in 7 years. I'm as healthy as a fuck. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm going to fucking scrub my hands after I wipe my ass.
Joseph Bile, 5'6".
Unless I'm making cookies for everybody in the office.
Then fuck them. Yeah,
fuck
exactly. I don't like half the pricks.
What are these, peanut butter? Well, something, whatever.
How can you mention tax the corporations and corporate greed in the same sentence? We all know that if you raise taxes on corporations, they just raise the price of their products, so we still pay more. So, Joseph,
how can they? So okay, they do that anyway. They're going to raise the price anyway. You better take the biggest cuts you can when you can. You got to tax. I mean. We just went over this Shell Oil.
Yeah, this is the failed trickle-down economics theory from the 80s. It does not. It's a very simplistic theory, but it doesn't work because corporations continue to raise prices to chase the quarterly earnings, and they will do that as long as the quarterly earnings increase. But in a free market, Joseph, I love when we have the chance to educate. But Joseph, here's the thing: in a free market, the consumer does not have to buy the most pricey product because there's always a competitor on the same shelf as them who's figured out, if I could be a little more economical with my corporate structure or my bonuses or my facilities, I could actually charge less and get more market share. So Not making fun of you, Joseph. It was a respectful letter, missive, but the trickle down doesn't work. It's been disproven. It's crashed and burned in the 80s, and it's never been proposed since then.
Obviously, they don't fucking teach economics anymore.
You know, people just don't listen. Would people even listen? You know what I'm listening to? I'm listening to people who tell me they're having a blast playing modern Mania wrestling, okay? It's a mobile game by the makers of 80s Mania wrestling, which I actually had as an app on my phone. I didn't leave the bathroom sometimes for 45 minutes because I was booking a show with people that looked like stars I used to know. But this is Modern Mania Wrestling GM. It's a pro wrestling general manager game for your phone or your tablet, okay? The game is a hidden gem. Seek it out. The characters look great. It's a very slick interface. It's easy to play in short bursts or long sessions when you got to stay on the can for a while. It's a simple premise. You collect cards for wrestlers, match types, venues, and skits. They're all in there, and you use these cards to book shows. The better shows you book, the more in-game cash you'll earn, and you get to collect more cards. Team up the right wrestlers. You'll unlock their tag team card, which you get then play them as the team. Match certain wrestlers against each other. You'll unlock a feud card, which you can play for a little more heat in that match. Manage your roster, create factions. There's manager cards too. I don't even know if they mentioned that. I remember that from the game. Love the manager cards. Compete with or control the other promotions inside the game universe. It's a lot of fun. It's free to play, and the developers are constantly updating the game with new characters and features. To get the game, search for Modern Mania Wrestling GM in the App Store or Google Play Store. Then after you download that, do the 80s one too. That's fun. Once you've played through the tutorial, head to the settings screen, and on the bottom right, you'll see a code button. This is important. You play the tutorial, go to the settings screen. On the bottom right, you see code. That's where you enter the code KLIQ. You know what we're going to give you? A bunch of free wrestlers that are hidden in there and a bunch of game cash. Code Kliq. Wrestling fans, do yourself a favor. Check out this game, Modern Mania Wrestling GM. I'm going to go play this later when I get off the air.
I got a question.
Got an answer.
How come all those guys that they had as wrestlers had six packs of abs?
Because they have time to work out. They're renting a bus. They're pooling their money and getting a bus so they can cook healthily and work out. That'd be that's what I learned tonight. So
I think it's crazy. I mean, just like that people, when they draw a wrestler, consider a certain body type, and then
to be an effective wrestler look.
It's almost like Marvel, like when Stan Lee and that crew started all the
designing the superheroes, what they should look like, and
even the Hulk had abs.
Did indeed.
I was never much of an ab guy. I mean, but I always thought that my persona was more of an offensive lineman, defensive lineman type look of that era than it was to.
Did you lower the lights? And I feel like that speaking of your look, you're getting darker as we speak. I know you spent some time in the sun today. You look a little like Dick Gregory to me right now. And not that, it's not a bad thing. It's absolutely fine. Folks, we have a live audience here tonight, and you can be part of that by going to KliqThisTV.com.
My wife said to me today, she says, Brad, she goes, how much? She said, you haven't been in the sun in how long? I said, I've been in the sun 4 days. And I went outside, I get a half-hour sun on the days that I go out. That's it. I use a sunblock, especially around my where I had all that shit.
That's a half hour with sunblock?
Yeah. You know what? I am American Indian. It's when the sun, when the UV's 10, I turn red.
You Red Cassidy is who you are, for Christ's sake.
I am Red Cassidy. I got my hands in my pocket right now.
Got it. Alanis Morissette over here.
Got my hand. I got my fucking hands right on my tomahawk.
Now, I know you were busy this week and you were on the road, so you didn't get to catch anything on Monday night, but you probably did see that Patrick Mahomes and Logan Paul were involved in the
I saw where they did the switcheroo they used
the rings.
Super Bowl rings.
I loved that. That was fucking great. I don't pop for much. But instead of brass knucks, you put on the actual Super Bowl rings from Patrick Mahomes' hands. Phenomenal. Great idea. So, but while I say that, this was another show, Kevin, that I will categorically state that you could have watched WrestleMania, missed every Raw, including the go home. This was the go home before Saturday's pay-per-view. You could have watched WrestleMania and Saturday's pay-per-view and been completely up to date on everything going on.
But you got Major Tom in the fucking capsule for this pay-per-view, so you're fine.
What do you mean?
Because here am I sitting in my tin can,
Oh, I know that
far above the earth.
They're not. Why is this happening? You expect the go home to have you on the edge of your seat.
You have to have the draft. You can't. You're too old to watch the draft. As soon as you tell me that you can't draft the cast with the belts, I don't have any interest to watch the draft.
Well, the draft kind of sucked. There's nothing really. I mean, there was nothing earth-shattering.
Yeah, it was great to see Stephanie back on TV.
I was going to bring that up too. Now, do you think that she's going to be more involved? No.
Oh, she's still got. We got one that's, not we, but they've got, one that's getting ready for college, but there's still two in the.
No.
Steph's a mom, man.
I know she was a mom when she was running the company too with Paul, though.
I remember when they first had their first daughter. I'm not going to say her name. So if you want to look it up, you can look it up, and I know it. And she slept in like a drawer on the bus that was made into a crib, and when they would travel.
Right. No, it's a hard life. I get that.
Yeah, it's a really hard life, and I really think that. I mean, it's.
But even to have her in like an occasional informal, like what she's been doing in the last month, she was at MANIA.
Great.
Yeah, she can kind of be a.
I think it's great. No,
she's over too. The fans love her.
Dude, she's been around as long as as long as I can remember. She was a great character on that television for a lot of years.
I gotta say that I was really surprised when they began to use her more and more, because at first you kind of go, oh. Look, Shane was great in the ring, right? So he proved he showed he had some creds, getting in the ring. You could watch
Shane
the match.
Shane was a great athlete,
right?
And both of his and it just so happens both his boys are white defensive backs, Division I.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, both his boys are Division I defensive. I'm pretty sure that are they defensive backs, Steve?
Sure.
He was always. Steve. He was always. I know one's in North Carolina.
One son committed to UNC.
The other one, I saw a picture of him. I think he was in red and white, so maybe he went to Indiana.
Red and white. What could be Nebraska?
Yeah, I don't know. I know his other son went Oklahoma.
There he is. So what is it? Declan
Hoosiers.
McMahon. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Indiana.
He's a Hoosier. He's a Hoosier.
I was right, brother. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
In other wrestling news, Jeff Hardy is cleared to return to AEW. He's been cleared by his...
And he's also cleared to try out for American Idol.
I don't give a shit. I think the song is marketable. I think it sounds like what rock is today. And I didn't. You know what though? I went on the rest of the feed. Kevin sent me a music video of Jeff's that I liked, and then I made the mistake of clicking in to look at the rest of the music, and didn't go the way I'd anticipated. But the one you sent me, I thought was marketable for today.
Well, why do you think I sent you that one?
To get me to drill down into the rabbit hole and go, oh,
no, I sent you what I thought was, something you would enjoy. Hoosiers,
great wrestler.
Hoosiers,
Tar
Heels Hoosiers.
Your friend Dwayne Johnson is being, what others say, unfairly portrayed regarding his behavior on the sets and at recent wrestling events, being late and apparently urinating in bottles, which I guess is a top guy thing. Did you see the report?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, so let me tell you. Higher up with WWE has categorically denied a report that The Rock was significantly late for WrestleMania 40. The Wrap ran a negative piece on Dwayne Johnson this week, accusing the final boss of being a nightmare to work with on the set of movies and at other projects. WWE did quickly release a statement that said Dwayne was not only on time for WrestleMania, he was hours early to help with rehearsal. I hate that the word rehearsal is being used with wrestling. This is what's wrong with this whole thing, the rehearsal. And a pleasure to work with throughout the entire run. Now, the film he's working on, Red One, they reported...
the second part of that Netflix thing?
It's an MGM. No, it's Amazon, I think.
What is
Amazon
Red One?
MGM.
I know he was doing that he was bringing that Red One is with Chris Evans. That's Captain America, Chris Evans, right?
There was a report of chronic lateness there, a lack of professionalism on set, reportedly caused by production delays. Oh, Anonymous source alleges he relieves himself in water bottles and has subordinates dispose of it. At least you got rid of your own. But that's also been refuted by a source close to Amazon MGM who says, quote, Dwayne Johnson and $7 have been incredible partners on Red One. Any reporting that implies that we got to this point with him showing up 7 hours late to the set is both ridiculous and false.
Yeah, no.
You've always, actually everyone I've ever talked to in the business has spoken highly of Dwayne, as far back as I can remember. Not after, even not when he was a huge film star where people have to suck his ass all the time. But even back in the day, people always put him over, being great to work with. I know you feel the same. You know who doesn't feel the same about working with someone?
Steve just gave us his thing. He said Ryan Reynolds called out Rock for showing up to set 6 hours late, and they didn't speak for years.
But is this one incident?
Well, that was that movie that they did. So I guess this is maybe something that Red Notice that they did with Wonder Woman was in it. The three of them.
Okay, I don't know.
Hey, man, fuck it.
It was a bad period in his life. Who knows? But you know who's not tolerating working with somebody who is not carrying the ball? And that's Chuck Berry and Yoko Ono. Actually, it was Chuck working with John Lennon.
Tap.
What's that?
Tap.
Yes, we're at the tap.
I'm tapping.
Oh, you're tapping before the bell.
Me and Tristan used to watch this in just utter horror.
But Chuck's face is what makes it. The tap is brought to everybody. Let's just remind everyone here who enjoys this part of it by Rocket Money this week. Rocket Money, guys, if I told you the number of people out there that have subscriptions that they're paying for that they're not aware of, you'd be shocked. I'll give you the number anyway. 75% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. And before I started using Rocket Money, the same was the case for me. Okay, you're not a moron out there. There's too much to do. There's too many subscriptions. You got streaming services. You got this, you got that. You got a million things going on in your account. Now, our friends at Rocket Money have given you the tool to go through and weed out the things, A, that you don't need to pay for anymore, but B, you might have duplicate subscriptions. You have multiple people in the home. Somebody signs up for this, another person signs up for the same thing. You don't even know who sits and checks their bank account like this. Okay, I don't. And that's why I got in this pickle, and that's why, thank God, Rocket Money showed me that I didn't have 8 or 10 subscriptions like I thought. I had about 25 going on. Couldn't believe it. But thank you, Rocket Money, because I'm no longer wasting money on the ones that I've forgotten about. It's a personal finance app. If you can see the display right there on the screen that we're showing, it's so easy. It's almost like a video game. It's kind of fun. You go through and you tap the things that you want to get rid of and cancel, and guess what? It's done for you by them. Get rid of your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending also, and it'll help you lower your bills all around so you can grow your savings even beyond the subscriptions that we're talking about, okay? How many users? 5 million. 5 million. And they've saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So, guys, please stop wasting money on the things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Nash. The /Nash is crucial. Let them know that we sent you there. Okay, that's rocketmoney.com/Nash, and get your spending under control. All right, Kevin is tapped already, but let's get a little bit of Chuck and John Lennon here. Now, the key is to watch Chuck Berry's face as Yoko takes the mic and adds her very important contribution to the blues jam.
Yeah, her layer.
Her layer to the cut. Chuck, at one point, Chuck is just looking at the sky like he's just wishing to be struck by a bolt of lightning. There he goes. I want to be anywhere else. Look at that. It's tremendous. Kev actually tapped before the bell, so we don't have to wait for the tap. But, yeah, find it. Everyone out there, find it. And
he wishes he was Ike so he could knock the bitch out.
Ike Turner. My money always would have been on Tina. That's a bad bitch right there. She would have held her own. Yeah, look at that.
I watched
Chuck. Chuck was not a nice guy too, by the way. So
Chuck Berry, no, he was.
To have him keep his cool.
Is there some young kid was training with, like, we were training the same body part the other day. And he brought up Bohemian Grove and all this other stuff that he'd been reading about. And I'm like, I said, how old are you? He said, 39. I'm like, wow, you're just like realizing how fucked up the world is now? So,
speaking of which, it's time for Florida Man and Jersey Guy. I see out there someone made a logo for it. I forget where I saw it. I should have bookmarked it. But somebody, I think on Twitter, was making a contribution. Or was that us, Steve? I can't remember. I saw a logo for it. Somebody put together when they had a Jersey Guy story. 2 actual headlines. 1 Florida Man. And Kevin is kind of like a psychic
I'm like
medium.
Karnak.
Yeah, he can kind of, through the vibe, be able to identify the actions of each. Here are the 2 stories Kevin will identify before your very eyes. Step right up. Watch Nash identify the Jersey Guy or the Florida Man. Here's the first headline. 2 arrested for making fake lottery ticket worth $1 million. Second one. Man forces 6-year-old son to run on treadmill for being too fat, now faces murder charges.
Second's jersey for the lottery pick is Florida.
I don't know how to get that. He's absolutely correct.
It's not against parental fucking ruling to be a fat fucking Florida. But man, they will.
That was
kill,
the watch. That only a Jersey
will,
guy would be critical of his son being too fat.
Can't you see Tony Soprano? Get on the fucking treadmill. And then, of course, everybody knows that, like, some people actually will say that I work 2 jobs. And what's that? Well, I mean, I work at, McDonald's and then I play the lotto. I'm like, that's not a job. There are people that, I've had people in this state sit down and tell me like what they would, like when it gets like to a couple $100 million. And not only to the fact that they tell me what kind of boat they're going to get, they tell me where they're going to, what marina they're going to put it in. I mean, there's so much thought that I just sit there and I'm like, you do realize that you have a better chance of being hit by lightning 3 times on a Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I forget who said it. I would credit them if I remembered, but I heard the lottery described as a game for people who can't do math.
yeah. I mean, I'll do it every once in a while. Like if I walk in there and I buy a protein drink, and the guy's going to give me back like $5 and some coins, and I'll be like, yeah, let me get two picks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't want to put the dollars in my car.
Listen, when the prize is $900 million, right? Look, right now, sitting here, I don't have a lottery ticket. I have no chance tomorrow of having $900 million. Maybe you set up a meeting with me for me with one of your friends, so I have a little bit of a shot for having $900 million.
Yes, it is true. It's in Discovery.
So,
fuck?
So yeah, you drop a buck on it, $203 million, nothing to sneeze at. But our friends in Florida, though, who made the ticket, you might be saying, did they change some of the numbers so that ignoring the fact that there's a barcode on every ticket, did they do something? No, here's what they did, Kevin. And this is what made it the Florida man story and why I could only do the headline. They cut up a bunch of scratch-offs and taped them together on one scratch-off ticket. Because they thought that might have been accepted by the Lottery Commission. There they are, our friends.
Wow.
Kira Lee Enders and Dakota Von Jones. Quote, authorities said the duo cut lottery tickets in half and pieced them together to make a winning scratch-off ticket. They submitted the fucking thing to the Florida Lottery office in Pensacola, who then had some issues.
Panhandle on top of that.
Right. So that was them, and then the Florida guy. This one's particularly disturbing. Don't play the video. I think there's video of it. Don't put it on. But a 6-year-old boy was forced by his father to run on a treadmill because he was too fat. A video played inside Superior Court in New Jersey's Ocean City suggested, despite falling multiple times, the father of the kid seen in the footage kept pushing him to run. The young child could not survive later due to blunt force injuries with cardiac and liver contusions and acute inflammation. Yeah. That's my state. I'll put my state up against your. I do every week. We have our share of.
I mean, it's always. Yes, I mean, it's just always. But it's just we could pick Idaho and fucking,
Nowadays they could pretty much be
Idaho and Vermont, man.
No, but clearly though there are characteristics to each that are identifiable, and you're living proof.
Yeah, because like I said, I live here.
All right, we're back. Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. And this part, our high spot of the show, where we get to hear from the fans and fans in the house, courtesy of kliqthis.com, kliqthistv.com, for God's sakes, as well as posts from you guys doing hashtag Ask Nash. But it would not be the high spot of the show without our friends, Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney, at their at Get Blitzed. Get Blitzed Lit Aid. That's right. The nano-infused Delta 9 THC sippin' syrup. Kev, we're getting closer to a big announcement. I'm told that production will take about 3 weeks. But
we're in discovery.
We're in the discovery phase. That 900 million is they're backing the Brinks truck up to our respective homes, to the Butch and Sundance headquarters. Listen, guys, if you have not tried the Delta 9 sippin' syrup, what the hell are you waiting for? We've been talking about it every week. We have fan testimonials all the time. Kevin always talks about it. His friends come over and try it, and it's super potent stuff, okay? Use it responsibly, because this is like THC on steroids. It's a syrup. You mix it into any beverage, like a tea, white soda. I'm going to try a special concoction that I've run by the guys here for this summer and see what happens. And with as little as a teaspoon, you could even do half a teaspoon. It's a fast onset, okay, 5 to 15 minutes. And it's a sippin' syrup. Kick back, put on the game. And nano-infused, by the way, means it goes right into your bloodstream, okay, bypassing the breakdown in the liver. It works like alcohol. This is not just some gas station Delta 8 crap. This is the real deal. It's THC, Delta 9, the THC you get from marijuana. And if you live in Maryland, you can visit one of the Stay Lit smoke shops, but for the rest of us, it's legal to ship from the Get Blitzed website to all 50 states. And you saw that in the ad here, for God's sakes, that that there's the gummy worms and anything you can imagine, okay? It's available in all 50 states without a med card, as long as you're over 21. Right now, you can save 15% just by entering the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. Go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed.com. Try the Delta 9 THC sippin' syrup Lit Aid from Get Blitzed at get-blitzed.com. Remember to use that promo code KLIQ. You'll get your 15% off. They're blowing up, Kev. They're blowing up. They sell out everywhere they go. I think they're going to be...
It's a great product.
Kev, have you ever done the gathering of the Juggalos?
I think I've done 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Because I think that Get Blitzed is going to be doing some sponsorship out there, and
Nice.
they talked to us about our presence. We'll see what happens, but
I'm whoop whoop. I'm down, baby.
go check it out.
Drink me a motherfucking Faygo.
Exactly. Put a little teaspoon in the Faygo. I think they were doing. I was talking to Mickey Ray and doing some business, and he told me they did the like a Faygo slushy machine with the Lit Aid.
Ah.
Phenomenal is that,
Dude? If you ever go out to the gathering, at nighttime. It's like that scene in Apocalypse Now where they go and it's like way up the river, and they get out, and then one guy's tripping balls, and there's fireworks going. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's fucking people paint. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Those are our people. I think they need to see us.
Hey, Scott had a camper out there. Him and Cody were in it for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, just
The damage done.
Yeah. I always was in and out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, hashtag Ask Nash is how you can get at Kev, or just join kliqthistv.com and be here for the tapings. Our folks always have a good time. It's always a party here on Thursday nights, the new Thursday night recordings. Chris Hibbler has sent in this. Hey, Kev, what is the coolest or rarest thing someone has brought to have signed at one of the wrestling cons in the past? I'm sure you've seen every action figure and poster over 1,000 times. Anything that you really went, whoa?
Every once in a while, like somebody will have a picture, especially like I remember it was somebody had a Polaroid and it was two little tiny kids, and it was me, and I was just like, "Is this you guys?" They're like, "Yeah." So I signed, the bottom of the little white spot on the Polaroid, but yeah, that was.
How
But
often are
that's
you able to remember the venue when someone comes up and goes, "Oh, I met you. We took this picture." Can you look at it and go, "Cincinnati"?
no.
No.
Occasionally I can, if I see something, but
Right.
you know,
I work
know,
with
I mean, it always helps if it says, RiverCon, and it says the city in the background on my post.
Well, that helps if you're standing
Yeah.
under the fucking road sign.
Yeah. So
When I did a movie called Cecil B. Demented with it was directed by John Waters, and we were working with him and sitting down during that downtime, and people were like asking him the shit he signed, and he's like, "Oh, please," he said, "I've signed every dick and tit in the world." So they were like, "What's the weirdest thing?" Colostomy bag got whipped out and thrown in front of him at a bar. I was like, "Oh, what did you do?" He's like, "I signed it." Never had that, Kev, yet at the con?
no, nor would I.
I'm
sign
sorry
it.
if I just started a trend.
Who still eats corn?
Yesterday's salad.
Mm.
Christopher, do you remember an autograph signing and appearance at Fresno State Bulldog at a Fresno State Bulldogs game
Yes.
while you were WCW champ? You even powerbombed the Bulldog.
Yep, we were at a football game. I ran out. It was good. That was a fun one, man. That was a good campus.
He wanted to know if that type of stuff was booked by WCW or you just called and brought in by the schools.
I was never booked by WCW. I was always had somebody that was booking me.
Wow. Mark Caps, 3 more NBA names for your opinions. Okay? 1, Kermit Washington.
The Punch.
I don't remember. What era are we talking about? 70s?
He's a guy that punched Rudy Tomjanovich and fucking tore his fucking basically dislocated his entire face off his.
Oh.
He went to American University. He was like 6'8", like 250, solid as fuck. He was a really good. He played for the Lakers. He was a solid ball player, but I have. I think it was either Rudy's book or his book, but it's called The Punch.
Oh, wow.
It was all about that, that punch.
Where did you rank Rudy Tomjanovich as a coach?
Thought he was a good coach, good X&O guy.
Okay.
Just glass jaw.
I have a question. I always think about this with professional coaches. So much of it is the team, right? Pat Riley has had the fortune of coaching amazing teams, right? And Phil Jackson too, right? So how much of it would you necessarily say that a Pat Riley is a far better coach than Don Nelson because he has more rings?
No, but I mean, you look at who Riley's got down there coaching Miami Heat right now, even though they got eliminated. I mean, the Miami Heat that Boston team is had the last 4 years has had to go through the Heat in one form or fashion. And, this year they got through them in the first. They got eliminated by them last year, and.
Yeah, but Kevin, if 87 Lakers, my mother could have coached that team and she's pear-shaped.
I don't know,
could have
man.
Coached that team to the championship.
Having a huge degree of talent. A lot of times, look at the Clippers team. They I mean, why didn't when they had Westbrook, Hardy, Durant, Perkins, that Oklahoma City team that was just loaded, they didn't do anything. But this Oklahoma City team right now that's in the playoffs, the average age of the player on the team is 23 that just won the first round. You know, this Denver Minnesota series is going to be fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. I just wonder, like, what's the role of a Pat Riley when the team is like so locked, loaded, playing on autopilot? Does it just become personality management because you got so many stars?
You got to get them up. You got to get them up to play. Once you've locked, you know, it's very difficult. If a team's, you know, on 60 wins, but you got somebody at 58 behind you to make sure that team stays those 2 games, because you want that, you want that first seed, because you want to play the 8th seed. You don't want to play, you know. So
I gotta watch some of the finals. I gotta make it a point to watch some. I sit through the Bon Jovi documentary the other night for my wife.
Tamara was so cool. I mean, she knows, man. It's just like, ball is my shit. And
I don't know if I said to her I want to watch basketball, it would have been fine. But yeah, I'm sitting there. I was like, all right, put it on.
Well, my whole thing is a lot of times, like, I'll watch, I'll keep getting the scores, and then I'll watch the fourth quarter. But like last night, like I nodded out for a second, and she said, "Do you want to watch the last quarter?" And fucking Miami was down 30, and I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
If Butler was healthy, yeah, but nah.
All right, let's get to the other 2 NBA names that Mark Capps would like you to talk about. Norm Nixon.
He was great. Came from Duquesne. Great shooting guard. Great role player on some great Laker teams.
Elvin Hayes.
I think one of the most underrated, forgotten players that play in the NBA. I remember Elvin Hayes was at Houston, and they played Alcindor and UCLA in the Astrodome. And I forget how many wins it was in a row, but Elvin Hayes, even though Kareem had gotten poked in the eye, I think against Washington State prior to the game, his vision was fucked up. But Elvin was, you know, they won the NBA championship. Elvin was 6'9". Wes Unseld was the center at 6'6". They might have had him at 6'7", but he was 6'6".
Center?
Yeah, 6'6" center. Wes Unseld, a guy from a big fucking bull from Louisville. But Elvin had that sweet ass. He was the one that, like, one of the first guys that had that dip in with the ball and then shoot that fadeaway jumper. He was sweet, especially in that old Baltimore arena. I had a T-shirt that had Elvin Hayes on it when I was a kid. I thought he was fucking bad as fuck.
Well, there you go, Mark. You got Kev's take on those 3. How about the live audience? What do we have here? 658. 658. I get it now. How bittersweet was it watching the Lakers 2003-2004 season, who, in my opinion, were the favorites to win the finals, only to lose to the Detroit Pistons 4-1?
I mean, it was great because, I mean, the Lakers were my favorite team, but, you know, anytime that it's your home
I was going to say, you'd root for Detroit, right?
Yeah. That was a great series.
Who else in the house? Who do we got in the house? Humberto Ramos. I've heard Bruce Pritchard do a pretty good Vince McMahon impersonation. Does Kev do a good Vince impersonation? Who does he think does a good Vince impersonation?
I don't know.
I did a very good Vince impersonation to Dixie when she was on You Shoot, and I had to read a quote from him about her product. And I did it in the Vince voice, and my people on the camera podium told me that was when somebody not on camera in TNA looked over at somebody else in a suit who came with Dixie and went, and that was the night in the elevator. They said, you're going to get a call. True story. So do you do events? Do you do a little events? Don't because I know what you're good at. Where would you go?
No, I mean, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Anyone else in the house with a question?
Yeah, anybody in the house want to fucking like make a remark, so we get we have the 4.5 star rating, but that one where I've basically gave Vince a get out of jail free card. That's still, one of the, the quotes for the people I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. We're going to take another question from the house. Humberto, would Kevin Sean ever go on the show Hot Ones? God, am I supposed to know what this is? Kevin, what is that?
What's this?
Hot Ones. Would we ever go on the show Hot Ones? I'm going to have to...
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Why would anybody do that?
I saw Shaq do it.
Shaq will do anything.
Yeah,
Shaq will endorse anything you have and appear on any. No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Kevin, would you like to do it?
Yeah. Well, how much do they pay?
But that's true. I should have known better to even ask the. You asked the money before the premise, Umberto.
Yeah, it's just, like when my agent calls me.
Jen Vargo. Besides your love for key lime pie, any other guilty pleasure snacks while doing a Nash TV binge?
So I found this. It's organic and it's little. It comes in a bag. It's $3, and I guess it's probably maybe a half a cup or a cup of raw organic coconut that's taken out of the shell and cut up in these little squares.
Mm.
And it's not really sweet, but
Is it dipped in chocolate or anything?
No, it's just raw fucking organic coconut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not sweet, but it's got good dietary fiber and.
Yeah, that's all the things I look for. I'd put caramel.
It's that one right there that I get.
The blue box?
Coconut chips.
Yeah. That's your new jam, huh?
That's good shit.
Okay.
They charge $20. Must be getting a shitload for $20.
All right. Well, listen, coconut chip people out there, give Dave Green a call. All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about you next week.
We'll go into Discovery.
We'll move some buffalo chips or what is it? Coconut chips. Oh, I'm here singing is filling my house. I currently here. My daughter just got her first. She's in college, of course. She's a freshman in college, but she did get cast as the female lead and plays in the park this summer.
Nice.
Funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. She's like, Dad, I have to kiss a guy and he's married. I said,
get used to it.
I said, honey, this isn't high school. And it's not even college. You're in a professional show. It's probably an arranged marriage anyway. It's no way the lead in that show is kissing women at home. Fernum Schnavich. Kev, what's a bigger felony in your eyes? Somebody who puts ketchup on a good steak or scrambled eggs? Unless you're under the age of 7, it should be a misdemeanor.
Steak.
A steak, definitely. I'm not a stranger to dropping a little ketchup in the scrambled eggs.
I put a little Heinz 57.
With well, that would be ketchup.
No, Heinz 57 sauce.
Oh, the steak sauce?
No, it's Heinz 57 sauce, not steak sauce. That's A1.
Heinz 57 is ketchup.
No, it's not. Heinz 57 sauce is like a brown Steve, pull up Heinz 57 so we can look at the fucking.
It's fucking 57 is ketchup. Heinz 57 does make a steak sauce.
No, that's Heinz 57 sauce.
What's the ketchup with the 57 on the side that you hit the 57 and it comes out?
That ain't 57. Heinz 57's.
Baba, that's
Heinz tomato ketchup. It ain't 57. Jesus
It's got
Christ.
a 57 on the bottle somewhere.
No,
You
it
show me the
doesn't.
plastic bottle. Where's the glass bottle? Where's that? Not that one. The ketchup.
That's Heinz 57. There's no fucking 57 on goddamn tomato ketchup.
Get ready for a picture this week. Next time I'm out to eat. Let's see, because there's a whole myth that if you hit the 50, look at the 57 right there. If you hit the 57, the ketchup comes out when it's stuck, and it's this is such fat guy talk, a pear-shaped guy talk. When you have it upside down and nothing's coming out, if you bang the 57,
you bang the 57 so you can get the fucking what the fuck is in that shit? They wouldn't even allow that ketchup sold in Europe because of the shit that they've got in it. It's got trans fat. It's got.
I'm sure it does.
It's got some. It's got. We don't allow it. We have organic ketchup in our house.
It tastes like a crushed tomato, right?
I don't know. I don't use ketchup.
All right. How about some more from the house? Let's wrap up with our friends here. They come every week. They sit. They listen to the banter. They listen to the discovery talk in the beginning of the show. Great. EP says, great to see you on WWE. Most Wanted Treasures. What's your most valuable in-ring item you have or wish you would have kept? You don't have anything anymore, but what would you have held on to if you could have?
Obviously nothing, because I didn't hold on to shit.
Yeah, but you don't regret anything?
No regrets. I'm thinking about getting it tattooed right here.
No regrets?
Yeah. We're the Millers.
Question for you.
Yes.
Your first title.
Yes.
Your first heavyweight title that you put on your mom's lap right before she passed.
Right.
Had you asked Vince, can I keep this? Would he have let you have the belt? And just made another one for when you had to drop it.
But when I gave it to Sean, I said, Sean, don't, keep a hold of this because my mom touched this.
Oh, so you did? You did want to keep the belt?
No, I wanted it to go to be the belt that was used.
I see. Okay, right. I think you should have taken.
And do what?
Well, because there's.
Look at it.
Well, just because of the significance. I remember the story.
Oh, she kissed me and she held me. She was my mom. I got a lot. I don't need to fucking put bullshit fucking fake wrestling into the equation to make. You have
plenty of memories with mom.
Yeah.
To involve the belt. Okay.
Yeah.
Who else we got here? David Van Boglin, welcome back. I know you were posting that you weren't with us here. Oh, was that you? No, that wasn't you. You've been here. Oh, it was Josh. It was Josh.
All my FUBU's gone.
All right, the question is, do you still have any FUBU gear used? He loved the brand. What was how about Zubaz? Zubaz pants?
No, I had,
Hawk?
I was looking the other day and there was an old shirt that I used to wear back in the day. It was in a closet. Oh God. I don't know if it was Fendi or it was one of those designers from that era. This red, white, and blue. I used to wear that red. I still have like that Indiana University hat I used to always wear. I still have that. I go to the gym in that fucker. I think I'm fucking. I call it and it walks and gets in the car.
Who else from the house? Live audience. This is Britt, Kevin Nash, or anyone. You're dating someone, but they are still friends with their ex. They were going to propose to, but that ex dumped them. Would you dump them? So you're dating a lady. She's still friends with someone she was going to be engaged to. It depends on the person. Like, is the other person in a relationship? Is it truly just a friendship? Right? All these things matter. I'd be very uncomfortable. I'll say right now. Maybe this makes me a small person, but I think I'd be very uncomfortable with it. Do you think men and women can be truly friends with boundaries?
Yeah, as long as you're banging them.
Okay, that works. There's your answer, Britt. Let's get one more. Sometimes I have to wait an hour and 44 minutes for the line of the show. And then it comes. Actually, you should have dropped the 4T on that one. That would have been great. Kevin Gilbalt. Did you ever meet the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman?
Yes. Nice guy. Last time I saw Steve, we did a signing someplace up in Canada together. And there was a live alligator at the fucking place we were at.
Doing what?
And like
part of the attraction?
Yeah, he was kind of captive.
You know when I knew I could never be a pro wrestler? Well, many times, but one of the instances, I'm at a bar waiting for Craig Gagne to get off a plane. It's 1 a.m. The bar is, it's very much the wrestler bar at that time. The convention's in that facility and the bar's open late. Steve Blackman walks in, carrying his bags, just obviously off a plane, a late flight. He walks up to my table. He goes, "You know where I can get a gym around here?" I don't. And I turned and I said it. I think Honky was with me. I said, "Did you see that?" He goes, "Yeah, he's a crazy motherfucker." Yeah, that one of the many instances I went, yeah, road life I could not deal with.
He had a great body.
He sure did.
That's why he's not working for AEW.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media. Definitely not of AEW Incorporated. Produced in association with Podcast T. Created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver. Producer by Steve Kaufman. Graphics by Dominic D'Angelo. Title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson. Theme song by Dale Oliver. Technical research by Tristan Nash. Copyright 2024. Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one?
Sure.
Customer service never answers a thing. Let us free for breathing air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, we're broken, and the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never